Hi, I am Mary Mazur. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. Ooh, this episode, we're going to be talking about authentic circles of connection. And I have such an amazing guest coming on the show, Michael Rowe. And Michael has been an ICF certified coach for 10 years, coaching over 400 people since that time. He's been actively involved in learning and teaching personal growth and development for 45 years. In 2022, he became an ordained Unity minister and is currently serving at Unity Spiritual Community in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In his coaching business, he has a variety of modalities that he uses, helping his clients uncover the childhood beliefs, the developmental traumas, and the pattern behaviors learned in our youth. These beliefs and patterns keep people trapped and stuck in different areas of their life without even knowing it. So the process that he helps and uses them helps them learn to heal and to feel again and to make it possible so they can create their lives with meaning and joy. So we welcome to this show, Michael Rogue.
Okay.
Hello, Michael. Thank you for
Hey,
coming.
Mary, it's nice to be back. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. You too. So yes, we have something exciting coming up here that is actually creating itself in a way, right?
Yes, yes, super, super excited about the event at the end of the month, and just really excited about all the possibilities about what that's going to mean and what that's going to bring forth in terms of creating just this beautiful container with yourself and with two other friends, Michelle and Bear. So it's going to create this incredible balance between the divine feminine and divine masculine, and we're going to pull a few things out of our sleeves to really help people that are really searching for, maybe there's something going on in their life where they just need some help. There's something that's going on and they feel like maybe they're stuck, or they're feeling like there's got to be something more, and they're just feeling for maybe the next level. So it's exciting. It's even hard for me as we start to talk about it, for me to put words on it, other than I really do believe that energetically what's going to be created with the four of us is going to be very special, not only for the people that are going to come, but for the four of us as well, as we open ourselves up to serve a higher way of being. And so it's really exciting to be a part of this, and I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yes, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, too. Right. And we'll be talking at the end of the show a little more details about how they can find out about it and, yeah, get their spot, right? Because it is going to fill up once we have 40 people. There is going to be a time that's going to fill up. So, exactly. First come, first serve here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no. So I'd love to have it. And first, what we can do, if you want, begin even just how you and I met, because I love synchronicities. I love
Mhm.
just how, I mean, all of our lives, right? And even the four of us,
Mhm.
myself, Bear Decatur, and Michelle Burkhart, and how the four of us have come into our lives. Even it's just really magical, actually, and potent.
Yeah,
So
it feels to me like it was predestined. I think we had these plans made long before we even got here, and I say that because the minute that we connected, immediately I knew that we had done things in the past. There was a connection. It was at a Psych K event that you were doing, and the next thing you know, there was actually one other person that were tucked in the back corner of a restaurant, and we were talking about multi-dimensional stuff and stuff flying around. And it's like everybody else, we got 25 people at the table, and we were pinned in that corner. And I use that term because I think it's funny, because it actually was just, hi, friend. I'm glad we finally found each other again. And so that was the connection that started with us. And then, I mean, with Michelle, again, somebody Psych K, and Bear Psych K, Mary, connecting that. Um, and when the four of us got together a couple of years ago down in Virginia Beach, it was undeniable what was happening energetically. And it was just at that moment for me personally, there was oh, there's something that the four of you that are going, you're going to be doing something pretty incredible. And that's honestly just spirit, just whispering something in my ear, in my heart. And it's not meant any way other than that. Um, and so over the last couple of years, it's been like, okay, well, what's that going to look like? Right. And then finally, we start getting more organized, if you will, about 6 months ago, putting together this idea of these authentic circles. I'm excited. I think it's a beautiful, it's going to be a beautiful creation. And this is just our part. My belief is that when we get there, the stuff's going to be flying. that's what I, that's what I really believe. I really believe that. So, yeah. So it's been wonderful. So we've just become deep, deep friends, and I consider you a sister and an incredible guide and a mentor. And the energy I think that happens when we get together is pretty special. And I'm looking forward to experiencing more of that.
Yeah, thank you for that. And what's so great is that I can even sense and feel too that everyone who decides to come, that
Mhm.
they're all playing an equal part here. And then that
Oh
is
yeah.
what is so powerful. Yes. Okay, we're the ones that are meant to lead it and meant to, be guides for the ones that are here, but that's exactly
Yeah.
what our role is going to be. We are guides. And that
Yep.
yes, we each four of us are very
Mhm.
spiritually connected, and that's because we've done our own personal growth and development and our own uh, diving in deep within our own selves, right? And healing
Yes.
those childhood wounds, healing those pieces that each of us have gone through in our own personal lives. And then, like you say, loving to know how we can use everything that we have experienced and gone through to go help assist others, so that we know that we can help others because we've done it for our own self, and we've helped others, like the clients that we take care of and support and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, believe me, I know. I'm thrilled that we are being moved, and I loved it. I loved it when it happened, that when spirit really spoke through you, and then you let us know about it, and we're like, "Ooh," I mean, I could feel it. I was like, "Whoa, yeah."
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like
It's definitely something that happens. There's a synergy when the four of us get together that is, to me, it's undeniable. I can't even explain it other than it feels like there's like we are creating a bigger I don't know if it's like we're creating a bigger wattage in terms of energy, but that's kind of what it feels like. Maybe it's just because the channel becomes more clear. um, there's a human part of me that just shakes its head, but my spirit knows, like, my spirit is just like, yes, this is exactly what you're going to be doing. And so, um, and it's kind of like, get ready kind of a thing, like get ready because, in a sense, it's showtime. And again, that's not an egoic thing. That's just like hey, you signed up for this, and it's time to start getting out there at the level that we're going to be getting out there, whatever that means. And that, I don't know. I think there's going to be more than two people there, but quite frankly, for me, it doesn't matter. It's about something that I feel deeply about, passionate about. Like, we agreed to do this, and I'm like, I'm here. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make this happen.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, we already have 10 people signed up already, and it just started opening up. So I know, which means I know they have people, the ones that are ready to come. Well,
Yeah.
what I love too, so what I'm feeling, I'll offer, even just because I do connect in with um how it feels, because
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's how I work. And that's what
Yeah.
we'll be sharing a bit more, is the medicine wheel, which we'll be talking a little bit more about here, and then how to navigate that, through that. And like the big one we're gonna be really helping with is the balance of that, is to letting ourselves help
Hmm.
ourselves in the areas that we haven't given ourselves that much attention yet.
Hmm.
And that it's time to, it really, especially our feminine side of us, which is
Mm.
super huge. But I feel like it's going to be yeah, a big wake up call for those that come, and even our own selves, like the four of us are actually going to be
Oh yeah.
enjoying all of you, with
Yeah.
everybody too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fabulous opportunity to go into some different areas of life where people may not be quite as balanced, and I think that's the beauty of the medicine wheel. is looking at these four areas of our life: the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional. And um, in the original tradition, and I love the original tradition of the medicine wheel, because in truth, what happened is it was scattered all over the world in these different tribes, these indigenous tribes, and they weren't. Well, some people would say that they were talking to each other, but as far as we know, um, they weren't talking to each other. But they all came up with their own version of the medicine wheel, and even though there are variances in some parts of it, the philosophy in all of the medicine wheels is the same, which is looking at the four different bodies, if you will, and then finding out, okay, what happens for most people is that they're usually pretty strong in a couple of areas of the medicine wheel. And then it gives you an opportunity to maybe look at the other areas on the medicine wheel where you're not as strong. And so, if you look at it from the standpoint of the directions, and that's how the medicine wheel is broken down, it's broken down into the directions. So, from a very Western culture standpoint, you've got the North, which is the mental, and then you've got the South, which is the physical. And so I could strongly make an argument that Western culture is really, really good at the mental. We actually honor, we actually pay people for their mental, strength and ability. We do the same thing physically, obviously with sports and stuff like that. And so we're really good in those two bodies. But then when we start having this conversation about the actual, the spiritual body or the emotional body, I think that's where Western society really starts to struggle. I think that's where some deeper work needs to be done, and it gives, and so I'm using that as a collective reflection, but certainly on an individual reflection as well. It seems that when we look different people coming from different backgrounds and whatnot, look at the medicine wheel, and it gives them an opportunity to come more into balance. And that's the whole point of the medicine wheel, is to allow somebody to say, hey, what am I good in? And where could I use some help? So am I good mentally? I'm good physically. Well, how about spiritually, or how about emotionally? And I can just share that for me, and we'll talk more about this, but for me, emotionally is where I fell down. That's the part that I needed to really go deep into, that was seriously ignored for good reason when I was younger. But it seriously impacted my when I was an adult, and I needed to go into the emotional, or the West, in order to do the work.
This episode is Authentic Circles of Connection. And we have Michael Rogue here with us today, because we are going to be offering a retreat about authentic circles of connection. And yes, we are going to be using the medicine wheel as our template to help people guide through their transformational changes, that whatever they're ready for, like you say, whatever, like I like to say, whatever they're ready to birth themselves into next, and help them discover what their way is. What is their sacred way? What's true for them? What's authentic for their own selves?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and I have done a lot of our own personal work within our own selves, and we continue to. It'll be a life journey, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Never
yeah, you had
stop.
touched on a bit, right? And we will be offering, some taste of what we will be offering for the retreat, just to get people to, say, wow, this is something that would be of interest. And if it is, we welcome each one on board that wants to come. So
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about the West with the emotional body. Would you love to share a little bit more about that? And then we'll go around the wheel a little
Sure.
bits of it, and we definitely will be
Yeah.
going into a lot more at the retreat. But this is just a little start of it. Sound good?
Yes. So the West is all about the emotions, and it's really, it has to do with the fall. It has to do with introspection. It has to do with insight. Between each one of the directions, there is a part where you transition. And so the two parts that hold the West are basically puberty, and then on the other side of it is the initiation. In other words, going from an adolescent into the adulthood. And so I always say that the West is can be really powerful, because it ties us back into our emotions. It forces us to go in there. And for some people, especially more logically oriented people, they don't like it.
Mm,
When you're mental, everything is really clear, everything is really linear, everything is really clean, everything makes sense. There's control in
mm,
the mental side of things. Um, but my own life is certainly a reflection of how the mental part of us will only take us so far. And
mhm,
then what eventually happens for many people, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot, um, is
mm,
that they get to a point to where this has taken them as far as they can go, whether it's in life, whether it's for success or whatever it is. And all of a sudden they realize, well, wait a minute, there's something missing. I'm wanting more. I'm wanting to go like I've done everything. What do I need to do? And then so we got to go from here and we got to go down into the heart. And in the heart, that's where we start diving into the emotions and finding out what's in there. And for some people, they get really nervous about that because they think, well, I don't want to go in there. But as the saying goes, my quote that I made up was the emotions are the language of the soul. And if you really want to know what's going on inside of you, learn to listen to it, which is great to say that, but the problem is the emotions have a language, a foreign language that most people, a lot of us didn't learn when we were younger. So my story was growing up in an environment where it wasn't safe. Emotions weren't safe. They weren't safe to be felt because there was a lot of pain around me. And got to the point to where I didn't feel comfortable with emotions. And certainly it wasn't okay for me to feel them or express them. So as a
mm,
result, as I was younger, what I learned to do is just completely shut them off. And then so you grow up and you now start becoming an adult and you don't have the capacity to feel. And then so what happens is now things start to happen and there starts to become problems and you don't understand why. And the reason being is because my feelings were completely shut off. And I needed to do that to protect myself as a child. But as an adult, there was no need for me to continue to do that. So my work was to go in to those emotions, even though there was pain there, even though they hurt, even though it was a foreign language, even though I didn't understand it, and start
mm,
looking at some of that. Some of the things that you can mention about going into the West is shadow work. Um, and there's some different things that you can do when it comes to the West. But really, what it is, it's really becoming aware of your emotions. You're having emotions. You're learning to feel emotions again. You're learning to express emotions again. And from the emotional standpoint, an emotion is just a cycle, and what
mm,
happens is a cycle, when you're healthy, will complete itself. So the emotion will come, we'll accept it, we'll feel it, and then we'll express it, and then we'll release it. Well, a lot of people that doesn't happen. And what happens, those emotions get stuck, and then it causes all kinds of problems, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. It causes problems. And so, yeah, the West it's funny that I get to be the one talking about that, but I think it's perfect. And I'm really super excited because I know um, learning how to turn on my emotions again has been an absolute game changer for me, and in all of my bodies, my physical, my spiritual, my emotional, and mental. That was the one where I was really lacking, and it's been amazing to go there.
oh, so beautiful.
Mm.
Yes, and I'm very grateful and gifted that I will be sharing about the East, so that the West is on the West and the East is on
Yeah,
the East. And
yeah,
yeah, I know how funny is that? And that's the spirit part of us, right? And I love it because I am very connected with spirit. I actually always have been my whole life, which I'm really grateful for. And I actually did it to a detriment. Like I actually wasn't even in my body, up
yeah,
until maybe about 6 years ago. As
yeah,
like the personality patterns, I was a lever. So yeah, definitely right. I was raised where it wasn't, I didn't feel safe either. It was a very
yep,
challenging time. I came in right during the civil rights crisis in '68, while they're burning down the streets, right there
mhm,
in Washington D.C. Yeah. So I, came out as a newborn baby, like, what the heck's going on? Super hyper
yeah,
vigilant, super alerted, and just said, I think I'll just stay connected with the spirit world. That's like way better.
mm. That's
Yeah.
way
Okay.
easier.
Yeah, okay, I did agree to, be human and, come here, but yeah, did I really? Why did I do that? That was actually a lot of the dance that I yeah,
Hmm.
dealt with within my own self. And then I know for me, the gift is for me to be able, that I have let myself do is to birth my true essence, to really dive into those pieces of, what did I create within myself? What judgment did I create? A meaning, that made it that I thought it wasn't so good to be here. Right. And a lot of people will go through that. I mean, my sister committed suicide. She left at 27. She's like checked out. My brother just had a drug overdose last year. He's gone. It's like people it gets really rough. And especially this time,
Hmm.
I think there's many people leaving the planet right now, or thinking about it, or wanting to, like they're getting at those breaking points. So I'm very grateful that I'm glad I'm going to be helping to address the spirit part of us. Is that instead of giving up, instead of numbing yourself, like if people use alcohol or drugs, like my brother was with the drugs,
Hmm.
that you actually can find a way to connect with your spirit within you, the I am presence within you, the part of you that we actually are love and light, but we weren't
Hmm.
taught. We were taught, for many of us in religions, oh, original sin, or there's something wrong with you, right? Or oh my gosh, right? The
Hmm.
well, about the guilt and the shame and the fear, or just overlaid with us. And that's what the 20th century was about. And
Hmm.
it was wartime. There was the most amount of
Right.
wars during that time. Yeah, very rough. And the gift is what 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 I believe the four of us are going to help people do is, first of all, recognize, and stand very strong to say, I chose to live during these times. And I
Hmm.
actually got excited about it. And this is what I'll be bringing into them before they even came here on earth. We actually said, sure, yes, we'll come.
Yeah. Good.
Woohoo! Like this is like an
Yeah.
amazing time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Yes, yes, yes. And the game is, right, we forgot who we were. We forgot all, we just said, yes, we're these human beings. And we get imprinted those first
Hmm.
7 years with the beliefs and the culture that whatever we were born into, right?
Hmm.
Then the gift is when are we gonna, in our free will choice, wake up and awaken
Hmm.
and realize, hey, something has to change, right?
Yeah.
I've got to do something here. And the biggest one I look forward to helping people actually activate within themselves is to know that they're here for an important reason. Every single one of us are. Every
Amen.
single one of us. Absolutely. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Not at all.
Right. Yeah. And it's I really do believe that as well. And I do believe that each of us have like whatever you want to call it, it's a calling or whatever, but I do believe that we each have our own special gift, if you will, our own divine expression, which can look different for everybody,
Mhm.
that's inside of us waiting to be given. And I think that's part of this work. So for some people, they're still looking for that. And if anything, I would just want to encourage people to let them know, no, it's there. It's there. It may not look like what it does for you. It may not look like what it does for me. It may not look for, or Bear or Michelle, but it's there. And the beauty of doing some of the stuff that we're going to be doing is, if you still haven't found it, there may be a really, really great opportunity for you to see it that weekend. You might be able to get your hands on it and touch it, feel it, smell it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then become it. And that's the
Hmm.
whole, for us to actually, and that's what that authentic part is all about. The authentic circles. I love the
Hmm.
symbolism of even the title,
Yeah.
authentic circles of connection. And then
Yeah.
that's the biggest one. And we're definitely going to be jumping into that. We are going to take a short break down in just a minute. But before that, yeah, I think a lot of attention hasn't been put on connection yet. And
Hmm.
I'm really grateful that we're gonna do a spotlight on it.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I would have to say, I know at least for myself, that is the most important piece for me, being
Hmm.
here, connecting with my own self, all parts of me, what
Hmm.
feels right for me, right? What brings me joy, what how would I like to share my gifts? These are the
Hmm.
pieces that each of us are meant to ask for ourselves, and then connecting with others to have those true, authentic connections. And that's
Hmm.
what we're we're really diving into helping people to do that for themselves and for each other. Authentic circles of connection is the topic today with Michael Rogue. Thank you for being here, Michael. And yes, we are offering an amazing retreat at the end of this month. And yes, we talked already about the emotional, the West, and then the
Mhm.
East with the
Yep.
spirits. So what are the other two?
Yeah. So again, it's the medicine wheel. So if we go into the South, that's going to be the physical body. You've got the two transition periods, which in the physical body is obviously birth and then puberty. So those are the two sides of the transitions, if you will. The physical body, again, we're going from spiritual into the physical. So it's all about play. Playfulness, 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 innocence, childlike. You are everything is just all sensory. You're just captivated by all of the senses. It's just like imagine a little child being born and coming into this physical existence and just being so innocent and so pure and looking. If you ever seen a baby, they look at their hands and wonder and awe because it's like, oh my God, it's incredible. But then we start to include the other senses, like the sensual touch, if you will, just feeling this crazy body and feeling this earth. And then we can hear, and then we get to see, and then we get to taste, and so it's all about the senses without any inhibitions, just totally appreciating being in this physical body and what that means. And so it's really joyful. It's a lot of fun. Like all of the other directions, there's extremes with that, as you could imagine, especially in the physical body. So everything comes with balance in it, but it's a delightful, it's the first thing that we come into. So it's a delightful place to really spend some time and look at it. And again, I'm just going to continuously say this with the different directions, the different bodies. It's like, some people do a really, really great job of taking care of their body, and some people don't. And again, there's no right, wrong, there's no shame, blame, or guilt or judgment. We don't do that. But maybe the physical body is the thing that you're needing to focus on. Maybe you need to be a little bit more physical, and get up from behind these crazy computer screens that we look at all day long and go for a walk, get out into nature, go breathe, go get your feet on her, feel her, touch her, all those kinds of things. So the physical body is going to be, Bear is going to be talking about that, who's just so beautiful and lovely with his own understandings, and the grounding in it and sharing some of the wisdom that he brings is just going to be absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, yeah, and he's gonna be offering breath work, which is
Mhm.
amazing, and he is so gifted in that. Because what a gift, right? What happens when we are newborn babies? I was a birth nurse for 26 years, is
Yeah.
we take our first breath, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then the last moment we're here is the last breath we take. Now, how
Yeah.
fascinating is that, right? So even just as simple in bringing in that life force energy within us and the whole mechanisms of right, how beautiful you can actually help yourself with breathing.
Yeah.
Even
Mhm.
as simple as that. So yeah, so we'll be I know. And sound bowls, right? Because sound and light
Mhm.
and breath, like you say, the sensory, right? To allowing sound to help us and stuff too, which is amazing. And then I'll be offering qigong. I am just now becoming a Radiant Lotus qigong instructor, and I was
Mhm.
Tai Chi leader. That qigong is really beautiful. It's an ancient practice. I mean, for
Mhm.
over 3,000 years in China, and I love that it's come to the West now, and that we
Mhm.
are moving our chi and connecting with our bodies, and right, connecting with like Mother Nature, with spirit, like you say, with our emotions, with our physical movements, and even our thoughts. So that's the
Mhm.
gift of the balance, and then we get to do it in a beautiful practice of qigong. So we're also going to be offering that at the retreat, which I think is really awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the other one is the mental, right? Up at the top, the north here, right? And Michelle Burkhart's gonna be doing that one, and amazing, right? She has her PhD in education, and yeah, her gifting of I know, Woo,
Yeah.
her teaching abilities. Yeah, exactly. And her gifts and her delights and storytelling and yeah, she'll be talking to what's called a stick figure, right? Which I'm looking forward to hearing in a very practical way because that's the gift of the mental, like you talked about, which is
Mhm.
going from now out of that adolescent year to adulthood, initiation of adulthood to to basically mastery level. If we can go to the
Mhm.
level of mastery, that's and we're actually being called for this in our lifetime
Right.
is right. And the gift is like when we do any of these aspects, right? We're never ever just doing one anyway. There is always an interconnectedness, and that's the gift. We
Mhm.
want the balance of it. But if we
Right.
can get a little bit of the focus of the mental, that's a big one, which I'm sure you already just mentioned before, is a lot of us do overthink, or we have the
Mhm.
same thoughts repeating ourselves over and over, or sometimes our thoughts can overtake us. Like I
Mhm.
had a friend who went through a really emotional um, traumatic state. Actually, while I went to go visit her, and it was because her mental body was literally overtaking her that she could not. And then with the emotional, but it was the mental of her thoughts because and it was the connection of actually those two. That yeah, and thank goodness I helped actually bring in the spirit part
Mhm. Yeah.
that helped her actually help herself rebalance again, which is actually kind of neat. So this is the gift that we get. Each one is there to help ourselves with that,
Mhm.
and even a bit of the physical of just helping herself ground again, helping herself, get back into her body,
Mhm.
and yeah, and breathing and quieting the mind. That's the connection of that mental to physical, right? That we can actually quiet the mind by breathing. So I
Right.
love the interconnected dances of all of this, right? Is the
Yeah. Well, I think it's another part of this that fascinates me, Mary, is this idea that you've got the divine masculine and then you've got the divine feminine. And I just think it's so we didn't, the thing that I find fascinating is like this was not planned. It's not like we sat there and we said, well, okay, let's make sure we balance all this out. We didn't do that. We just said, okay, I'll take the emotional, and you go, I'll take the spiritual, and so on both sides, if you think about that from the medicine wheel perspective, with the spirit being in the east and then the emotional being in the west. So there's the divine feminine. You're holding the spirit, the divine feminine. I'm holding the divine masculine in the west, and then you've got Michelle holding the divine feminine in the north, and Bear holding the divine masculine in the south. And it doesn't, you know each one of them can have their own expression within that balance. So it's not like, oh, do you mean spirit's always the feminine aspect? No, not at all. At least not in the traditions that I studied. So you can have it, but I just think it's interesting the way that we have come together, offering that kind of a balance within the directions themselves, because I really do believe this, that what's happening is that we as a society, um, it's the divine feminine that's starting to rise again, to finally take her true place where she belongs. um, um, Finally stepping back into that powerful stance, balanced. And that's why, again, the medicine wheel is all about balancing. So it's not the divine feminine overpowering the divine masculine, but it's certainly standing up to be an equal, which in reality, it's always, that's the way it was meant to be. That's the way that it's supposed to be, to live in balance, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And what a gift when we can connect with the love of who we are, and that's the gift of what all of us is bringing for all of us, and pay attention to fear or distortion or anything that is limiting us in
Mm-hmm.
that way. And I think that that's the other piece too is to wrap in uh, what energy we're in,
Mm-hmm.
as we're dancing with our masculine and feminine, because
Mm-hmm.
it is literally a dance, right? And like you say, for thousands of years, the patriarch has been running the show. It has been the one leading. And exactly, we're in the Aquarian age now, which means yes, the feminine is coming in to anchor in. And then
Mm-hmm.
from what I had heard, the feminine's going to be leading for the next 1,000 years. So there you go.
Yay. Yay. Thank
Third
goodness.
water lead, yeah, which
Yay.
means yeah.
Yeah.
Which things are gonna be different, how
Mm-hmm.
about a little more of just being instead of the doing? How about more of just that open time, open space, the
Yes.
spontaneity, the
Mm-hmm.
freedom, your intuition? the
Mhm.
wholeness, seeing things as a group. This is the gift of what we're doing, is bringing community back instead of our individualist
Mhm.
experiences that we had, which was more masculine. We now
Mhm.
are going to be, yeah, bringing community back. So actually, this retreat is an invitation for community, and that's the gift of the connection.
Mhm.
Is that feminine lead? Because when we
Mhm.
do connect, with each other authentically, being real, and then what we'll be doing exactly was we authentically relating. We're going to have exercises, right, where people are going to be working
Yeah.
with this. So they're actually, this is experiential, right, where they're going to be actually, yeah, really, really getting real, like you say, about feeling, about thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just going to let everybody know that what we're talking about is an actual process that they're going to learn. There is a
Hmm.
process to authentic relating. Authentic relating is a very, very deep way of being with other human beings that is much, much, much different than what I would say the majority of us have been exposed to. We think that there's one way to go into relationship or connection with people, and this authentic relating is so powerful. I've seen people literally transform their entire lives just from authentically relating and learning how to do it, because they learn that they can be real, they can be vulnerable, they really can share what's going on inside of them, and they can be in an environment that's safe, where they will be heard, where they will be given the space to just be who and what they truly are. And to be witnessed like that and held like that for some people in and of itself can be tremendously healing, tremendously healing.
Absolutely. What a gift. And then they learn, they're become more aware of how they're feeling, and that they can
Mhm.
actually feel what anyone else is feeling, and
Mhm.
and learn how to hold space for themselves and others in all of it. We are going to be reeling it all in here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
last little bit here. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. What would you like to share is to help encourage people, or just help people get,
I honestly can't think of anything that's got more value than what you're getting in this event. I mean, you're getting basically 3 nights. You're getting Friday or Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We are going to be doing a wide variety of things, from enjoying some sound baths to doing some breathing to doing some qigong to doing some meditation. Of course, there's going to be the training on the medicine wheel and the different parts of that. But considering what the event is offering, I just think it's an incredible value for anybody that's looking just for a little spark, a little something in there. And hey, and because I really do believe this. I really do believe the people that are coming there are going to be signing up for some really beautiful work and some beautiful healing. That's what I keep feeling, is the container is going to allow people to really go deep and have some really transformative healing, um, by coming. And so, yeah, I would just say check your calendars. And man, if you've got that time off, it's a very modest cost involved. And Mary's going to even tell you how to get a little bit of a discount in a minute from that. But it would sure be great to see you and experience your energy, because I always say this. People that are coming are actually going to be contributing to the energy and what happens in that room. So it's like, okay, well, let's create something pretty magical and pretty powerful together then, and see what we can do. And I'm just obviously super excited to be doing this, with the four of us, and what we're going to be able to offer, and what spirit, when spirit shows up, I just got a feeling like, oh boy, it's going to be pretty incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, and really, it's for the ones that are like, yes, I am ready for.
Mhm.
Woo, it might be a new jump start. It might be just a new, yeah, honestly, a new way for them to connect within them in such a loving, wholeness way, authentic way, and to be able to connect, right, with others, and really, really help themselves. What I see catapulting into serving greatly, and sharing their gifts. So that's what I feel what's going to happen to people that come, however it means. It could be with their families, it could be, it could be in their workplace, or even their own careers or their own businesses. It can be, sky's the limit here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
people do want to find out more information or register, they can go to my website, igniteandhealyourlife.com, and igniteandhealyourlife.com. And they can use the coupon code LOVE100 in all capital letters. So LOVE 100. And then they will actually get, which we had as an early bird, which was actually just ended. But anyone that does listen to this and they hear it from here, then they get that extra gifting from us because we want a gift, which is
Good.
nice. Yeah. So and then Michael, how can people get a hold of you if they
Probably the best way to do it is you can go to my website, which is just my name, www.michaelroque.com. And if you've got a question or if you want to just talk and see what's available for you, we can get on a quick call. That's probably the best way. You could also send me an email directly if you wanted to, which is at Michael at, and it's courage, Courage, to TO, not the number, to thrive, THRIV as in Victor E.com. So Michael at courage to thrive.com is another way you can reach out. And you can also follow me on social media. I'm on all the TikToks and YouTubes and all that kind of stuff as well. And you can also follow me at unityspiritualcommunity.org, where we do all kinds of fun, wonderful things to serve the community as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, it's so awesome. So one last thing, what would you like to share for people listening today and what we're offering?
Mm,
Mm.
you were never meant to struggle. You were meant to thrive. And the only reason that because I've done a lot of it in my lifetime, is because I believed a lot of garbage that was put into my head by other people. And when you realize that, then you also realize that you can change that, that you have the power to go back in and change what you're thinking and how you're feeling and how you're being. And when that happens, your life will change. And I am living proof and evidence of that. And that's not saying that arrogantly. I'm humbled to be doing this work and I'm grateful. And you can do the same thing.
Oh, thank you. And I'll say ditto on that one. Yeah, and it is. It's just listening to the call, listening in your heart. Listen that, yeah, you know what? It's okay to want more. We're meant to have our heart's desires. We're meant to dream. We're meant to go live our highest aspirations. Yeah, exactly. And it does begin with authentically connecting within our own selves and then
Mhm.
with each other. So this has been such a joy. I want to thank you again. And I know we wish all those welcome to come that they will be joining us and it will be a
Mm.
hoot.
Yeah,
Okay,
come, please join us.
exactly. So I am Mary Mazur. You're on the Bold Brave DP Network. This is Change Your Funk to Fun. Have a fantastic day. And thank you again, Michael, for being here. Thank you.